Hello, my dear friend. A very warm welcome to all of you in this session. Here we are going to discuss three important things. One is we are going to discuss the home isolation guideline of AIMS, Government of India, and Park 26th edition. Second thing we are going to discuss in this session is all the breathing exercises, respiratory exercises to be done during home isolation and during recovery period from corona. And third thing we are going to discuss is post-COVID management protocol according to Park. Okay, what we have to do in the post-COVID recovery phase and how we have to advise our patient. We will also read about how to do surveillance and how to collect data about corona as per Park. Okay, so let's move ahead and start reading about home isolation thing. Okay, so this is a very simple diagram given by Government of India in which it explains everything. And remember, Government of India in the treatment of mild cases who are at the home, for the treatment, because we have to know the treatment, they are saying about water, they are saying about prone positioning, they are saying paracetamol every 6 hourly, and they are suggesting to take vitamin C and zinc for recovery and for home isolation. And they are also suggesting steam inhalation and warm water gargle, remember, 3 times a day, because I have heard many people are doing it 6 times a day, 7 times. No, only 3 times a day is the guideline what they are saying. So these are the treatment part. We will also discuss it in the home isolation part. We will discuss these things also. Okay, remember, in the treatment or whenever they say prone positioning, in the prone positioning, of course there can be 3 pillow or there can be more than 3 pillow, but the most important thing is that the pillow should not be below the stomach. It should be below our, let's say, the hip bone. Okay, it should not be below the stomach, because if the pillow is below the stomach, then we cannot breathe, because then our stomach cannot expand and we cannot breathe comfortably. Okay, like in this image you can see the pillow, the middle pillow is below the inguinal region, in the pelvic region. It's not below the stomach. Otherwise, how stomach will expand, especially if these are fatty people like me, how they will comfortably breathe. Okay, so in the home isolation, what advice you will give to the patient? Very simple to remember. Park has given 15 advices and still it is simple to remember. So what are these 15 advices of home isolation? Very easy to remember. First 5 is, if you remember it in 555, we can remember it all. So first 5 advices to be done by the patient. For the patient, they are saying that find a single room for home isolation which should be well ventilated. Find preferably one caregiver, not multiple caregiver. But if you don't have option of one committed caregiver, you can have multiple, but prefer to have one caregiver. And if you are not getting a single well ventilated room and you are living with some other person, suppose, then maintain 1 meter distance from the person. Okay. Fourth thing they say is that try to have a separate, or again you can say there is one and a single is also one. So everything is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. There is a rhyming here. So try to have single bathroom. Okay. And if there is no single bathroom available, there should be minimum sharing of space, minimum sharing of kitchen or bathroom. Okay. So this is the fourth one. The fifth one is wear a mask, single mask. Need not to wear 3, 4, 5 masks which make you difficult to breathe again. So wear a single mask and maintain good hand hygiene and all. Okay, keep washing your hand like whenever you sneeze on your hand or cough on your hand, you should wash it so that you do not touch the surface around you. So very simple 5 point regarding patient. Okay, one room, one caregiver, one bathroom, 1 meter distance, one mask. Okay, and respiratory hygiene should be there, maintained. Okay, health respiratory hygiene should be maintained. Now, what about the caregiver? Again, for the caregiver, there is 5 advices. Very simple to remember. First advice to the caregiver, that suppose I am the caregiver, I entered into the room of corona patient and corona patient coughed on me. So first thing I will tell to the corona patient, first thing before telling him, I will try to avoid myself from the cough, because it is coming on me. So I will try to skip it. Okay, so avoid contact with the body fluid of the patient. Avoid body fluid contact. Okay, second thing you will say to the patient that, mere bhai, if you are coughing, put some cloth over your mouth, or whenever I enter into your room, put a mask over your mouth so that I can be protected. Okay, so maintain good hygiene, and now wear mask, or you can say you are saying it to cover mouth with mask or cloth. Okay, whenever some caregiver enter, okay, you have to ask the patient that he should cover mouth and all. Third thing you will do is that you will ask him to like throw the cloth or the mask, which suppose the person is coughing. When you came, he used some cloth. So you will ask him to dispose that cloth after coughing. So dispose cloth or mask which is contaminated with fluid, contaminated with patient fluid. Okay. Then fourth thing you will ask him is that keep wearing mask. Okay, maintain good hygiene, and now you will, suppose he have coughed on the area around him, on the bed, on the table. So you will disinfect. You will disinfect the table, okay, or the surrounding utensils or chair or anything like that. Okay, so you will disinfect table, bed, etc. How you can disinfect it? By taking some amount of bleaching powder in water, bleaching powder water solution you can use, or you can also use 1% sodium hypochlorite solution. Okay, so you can use bleaching powder solution for it, or if available, sodium hypochlorite solution of 1%. So these are the 4. What is the fifth thing? The fifth thing is that after you came out from the room, I went to the room where I skipped the cough, then I ask him to cover the mouth, then I dispose his cloth, and I disinfect the house. Then I will definitely clean my hand after coming out. Okay, so every time I come out from the room, I have to clean hand and I have to dispose my gloves. Okay, so clean hand. For caregiver, you are saying clean hand after coming out. Okay, now the 5 remaining thing is for all other people living in the house. What are the other people will do? The other family member. First of all, you have to keep a good look on all other family member for the sign and symptoms, because now all other family members are contact of corona. So they are treated as contact and they are regularly monitored. You need not to keep checking their SpO2 every hour by pulse oximeter, but you will monitor whether they have a fever, they have a difficulty breathing, cough or not. Okay, regular monitoring for fever, cough and difficulty breathing. Second thing you will ask other family member is to clean the toilet of the patient every day, because there is chance of super added bacterial infection. So if you are not cleaning the toilet every day, okay, or if you are not cleaning the cloth and bed sheet every day. Try to do it every day. Of course, we cannot clean the bed sheet every day, but at least the cloth should be, which we are giving to the patient, should be clean. Okay. And it should be cleaned preferably every day, because there is chance that the immunity of the patient is low. He can develop some infection or mucormycosis or something. So we have to maintain him in a good condition. Okay. Then we ask the other family member to, if they are cleaning the toilet of patient, cloth and bed sheets of patients, or if they are cleaning the utensils of the patients, in that time they should use glove. Okay, they should also clean the utensils by using gloves. Okay, now what else you will take other family member? You will ask them to bring a SpO2 monitor, the pulse oximeter. Bring pulse oximeter and monitor it 2 to 3 days per day for the patient. Okay, bring pulse oximeter, and if the patient is sick, you can monitor every 4 hours. That's for sick patient. And if the patient is normal, 2 to 3 times a day, like not so much symptom, then 2 to 3 times a day is okay. Now, in the pulse oximeter, first of all, we have to put it in the second finger. Second thing we have to do is, we have to know the limit. So SpO2, it can measure from 3 to 100%. And if the SpO2 is 96 to 100, it is the same. Do not worry if your SpO2 is 97 and your friend is 99. It doesn't matter much, because if you look at the oxygen saturation curve, it is sigmoid. So till 95 to 100, the amount of oxygen in the blood is almost the same. So it does not get affected by this 95 or 100. So the range of SpO2 is 30 to 100, and then they can measure the pulse rate. Okay, pulse rate is up to 250 pulse rate. 20 to 250 pulse rate is the limit of pulse oximeter. So these are the five things which you will tell to the family member, which you will tell to the caregiver, and which you will tell to the patient. I hope whenever you are dealing with someone patient, you can explain it beautifully by this 5 thing, and I hope you can remember it too. Now, in the management of home isolated patient, what is the exercises that we give? First thing we do ask them is prone positioning, which I have already told you. So this is the only exercise which is written in the guideline for the treatment for the patient. This is for patient. Now, let's talk about the patient who are recovering from corona. Okay, so what are the post-COVID patient guideline? Post-COVID patient recovery management protocol or guideline. Because we will discuss respiratory exercises in this post-COVID patient management guideline, we can discuss the exercises. So, in the guideline, first thing they say is have some respiratory exercises. And in the respiratory exercises, there are 2-3 type of exercises that has been clearly said. First type of exercises is the pursed lip breathing. Second type of exercise is the diaphragmatic breathing. I will explain it all to you. Okay, diaphragm or belly breathing. Okay, breathing from the abdomen, breathing from the stomach. Okay, diaphragmatic breathing or belly breathing. Okay, and of course this prone positioning is something which you can do even in the post recovery phase. So what is this pursed lip and diaphragmatic breathing? In pursed lip breathing, you will ask the patient to inhale from the nose, deep inhalation, and then you will ask him to exhale from the mouth, but you will ask him to keep the lip closed during exhalation. Like, okay, you have not to let the mouth open during exhalation. Pursed lip means your lip are closed when you are exhaling. So, okay, so this pursed lip breathing, it means your lip is closed. This is commonly explained to the patient like you are filling a balloon. Okay, balloon filling exercise. Because when you fill a balloon, only small part of your mouth is open. So if it is a small part of mouth is open, then the expiration is slow. And if the expiration is slow, then your lung can expand in that period, and like when the expiration is slow, the lung can expand, and even those parts which are not functioning well, they can be involved into the functioning. So balloon filling exercise. There is one more exercise that you can give to them. Give them a bottle, give them a straw, and give them a water in a glass, and you ask them to breathe deeply inside from the nose and then exhale from that straw. Again, that straw is like pursed lip, and you will ask them to form bubble in the water. Okay, so that is known as straw and bubble exercise. Okay, so you can ask them to do this pursed lip breathing, and this pursed lip breathing can be done by balloon filling exercise or straw bubble exercise. Now, what is this diaphragmatic or belly or stomach breathing? In corona recovery patient, they breathe from the chest, shallow and rapid. You want breathing to be deep and from the abdomen, from the stomach. So how you will ask the patient to do it? You will say to the patient that put one hand on the chest. Remember, this diaphragmatic breathing can be done in sleeping position, sitting position, or like in even when the patient is lying down comfortably, he can do belly breathing. So what is you have to tell to the patient is, put one hand on the chest, one hand on the abdomen. You cannot see it because it is below, and in the abdomen, one hand. Okay, and then breathe in from the nose, breathe out from the mouth. Okay, normally. So when you breathe out, you have to monitor that how much your abdomen is functioning, and your finger on the stomach should expand out, because you are breathing from the abdomen, so it will expand out more than this. The moment of the hand which is on the chest will be less, and the moment of the hand which is on the stomach will be more. Okay, so that's how you can see it, you can remember it, that you are breathing from the abdomen, because the moment of the hand on the abdomen will be more. And you have to try to bring your abdomen inside when you are exhaling. You should try to bring the abdomen inside. Okay, this is diaphragmatic or belly breathing. Then, of course, in the respiratory exercises, you can use a spirometer. What is a spirometer? Of course, there are three color balls. You have to take the breath in from the spirometer and then take the breath out also. So when you will take the breath in, the balls will go up. And if all the three balls are going up, it means your lung is functioning really well. But at least two layer balls should go off. But you have to do it in a relaxed way, very easily. Need not to get tired by doing this exercise. Okay. Now, first thing is respiratory exercise, which we should do for early recovery in post-COVID patient, or even the patient who are at home, they can do this exercise. Okay. Now, the second thing is that PARC recent guideline and the government guideline, they also suggest you to do meditation and pranayam. Prana Prana is the life we have. Yam is like, pranayam means we are trying to control our breathe. And we are trying to control, because what is the symbol of life? Our breathe. So we are trying to control it. So in meditation and pranayam, we can do it even when we are lying down on the bed. We can do it in the sitting position. Mainly what you have to do is, if you are breathing in for 4 seconds from the nose, and you breathing out for 4 seconds from the nose again. So it is controlled breathing, like 4 second inhale, 4 second exhale. Okay. So this is one type of breathing. Second type of breathing is when you are inhaling for 4 seconds, but you are exhaling for 8 seconds. For a longer duration, you are exhaling. So these type of exercises are in the pranayam, and in the meditation, we just focus on our breathe. And this focusing on breathe relaxes our brain. Because thoughts do come in our mind when we do meditation. But if we are doing it again and again, then gradually we start feeling that thoughts are like cloud. They are not important. And we feel more relaxed, less stress. Our BP will also be under control. So this is the second thing which they are asking you to do, meditation and pranayam. And you can see a lot of online videos on that. If you want, I can also make a video on that. Now the third thing which you have to do is you have to try to walk for 10 to 15 minutes every day. Okay, for quick and early recovery. Walking is the best you can do, but do not exert too much force on yourself. If you can breathe and walk, then go for it. If you are feeling breathlessness, of course you should avoid it. So we read 555 for the home management in isolation. In case of post-COVID recovery, there are 10 points which we have to remember. These are the first 3 points: respiratory exercise, meditation, walking for 10 to 15 minutes. The fourth thing we have to do is, if you have a sore throat or cough, if you have some cough, let's say, you can go for gargle, or you can go for steam inhalation. Okay, this is the third point, because some patient, what happen is during corona, our throat get scratched by the cough. So it feel like there is something sticking inside, there is some itching sensation. So in that case, you should do some steam inhalation around 3 times a day you can do, and you should gargle also. You can also take some antitussive cough syrup or medicine to relieve yourself, which you can take before sleep. You can take that. Now, the fifth point you have to do is, and that is the most important point during recovery. You have to maintain hydration, maintain good hydration. How you will maintain good hydration? Good hydration means you have to drink around 4 liters of water per day. Of course, it is too much to ask for. Usually people drink 3 liters. But if you will give advice of 4 liters, maybe they will drink 3 liters. So guideline only say maintain good hydration, drink warm water. Okay, that's the guideline. Drink warm water if there is no contraindication. I never, like, you can drink warm water, but suppose, like, what happen is that if you advise people to drink warm water is less tasty, so their water intake can decrease. Okay, so make it sure that even if they are drinking warm water or normal water, it should be 4 liters, around 4 liters water per day. That's the most important advice. Now, when you will give this advice, the patient will say, yes, doctor, we will do that. But he cannot do that without a good, healthy, balanced diet. The guideline only say balanced diet, but we should advise our patient to have 3 meals, 3 good quantity and good quality meal, and a good amount of meal and good quality meal a day. 3 meals a day. Because only when they take 3 meals a day, then there will be salt in their body, and only then they can have 4 liter of water per day. So make it sure that they are eating 3 times a day, because when they eat 3 times a day, then they will have 4 liter of water per day. Okay, and this, so this is the most important advice, more important than exercise or breathing or anything. It is the most important. Okay, maintain good hydration and have balanced diet. The guideline also says in PARC that you can advise patient to take immunity improving drug. This immunity improving drug can be something which is advised by Ayush department, or which is the multivitamin which we are giving, like Ginkgovit and a Lim-C and a vitamin C, zinc and all. Okay, then the 8th point which they are saying that if you are taking treatment take the treatment as prescribed by doctor, and if you are taking Ayurvedic, homeopathy along with allopathy, tell it to your doctor, because if there is any drug interaction, doctor can tell it to you, he can identify. So take treatment as prescription, as advised. Okay, continue the treatment, do not discontinue that you are okay, you need not drug, continue the advice, and share every treatment from your doctor. You should not keep secret type of treatment. Okay, every treatment from doctor. If you are taking some Ayurvedic medicine and all, you should explain it to the doctor, you should tell it to your doctor. The 9th point it says is that you have to maintain good sleep, take adequate sleep and rest. Very important, because we start looking at our phone, at the messages, Instagram, and sometime we keep waking up till 2 p.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and we don't even know the time. So make it a habit that you will not watch any screen or anything after at least 11 p.m. Not after that, because I have seen many friends of mine who keep watching, even I do that, most of the day, that I keep watching till 2, 3, if not phone, then my iPad or some laptop. So if you are recovering phase, please do not do that. Sleep at least adequate sleep means it should be 7 to 8 hours sleep. Okay, and of course, one advice is daru sutta band, no smoking or drinking. One of the study in Russia was done that after how many days of vaccination we can take alcohol. So they said we should try to avoid alcohol till 45 days of vaccination. After 45 days, we should not, till 45 days after taking vaccine, we should avoid alcohol. Then people start thinking that we should not take vaccine in Russia, because alcohol drinking is much more common than India. So they are saying, let's remove the vaccine, continue with the alcohol. But if you have taken vaccine, discontinue alcohol for next 45 days. That's the advisory guideline. I'm not saying it. And there should be no smoking or drinking during recovery phase. The most important is that there is 6 danger signs. Okay, these are the 10 advice you will get. And then you will tell them about 6 danger signs which they have to take care of, and they have to report back if they find this 6 danger sign. What are those 6 danger signs? First is if there is high grade fever. Okay. Second is if there is breathlessness. Most important is breathlessness. Third is if SpO2 is less than 95%, but I think till 94 is okay, but because it is post recovery phase, we keep it 95%. Then fourth is suppose there is sudden onset of confusion. Okay, sudden onset of confusion. Okay, then fifth is when there is unexplained chest pain. What is explained chest pain? Explained chest pain usually occur due to gastritis and like this burning sensation in this region, epigastric region. Okay, that is explained chest pain. But if it is unexplained, we should take it as a warning sign. And the last thing is that if you are feeling extreme weakness, okay, very weak, extreme weakness suddenly, then also you should report. Okay, so these are the 6 warning signs. Very simple to remember: fever, breathlessness, SpO2 less than 95, sudden onset confusion, unexplained chest pain, and extreme weakness. So this is the 10 things you will tell to your post-recovery patient, out of which 3 are the exercise, then 4th and 5th are food and water. 3 are the exercise, remember, respiratory exercise, in which there are 3 type of exercise, then meditation and walking, 3 exercise. Then you will ask about water and food, 4 and 5. If they have cough, you will ask about gargle. Then you will ask to take them multivitamin and to continue the treatment and do not hide any treatment. Then you will ask them not to have sutta and daru and have adequate sleep, and you will explain them that 6 danger sign. This is the complete care you can give to corona patient during recovery time. Now, this is at individual level. This is what patient should do. But at community level, like if we are living in a colony where there are many patients of corona, what we should do? First of all, we should ask them to share their positive story. Share positive story of recovery. Because a lot of patient, when they go in corona, they feel stress, they think they are going to die. So you have to share the positive story of recovery among other patient. How you will do that? On telephone, on internet, and or you can make a self-help group of people where people are meeting at a safe distance together and they are sharing their positive story. Because like many people, many friends of mine, they call me and they say that my father is sick, my mother is sick, what to do? I am very scared. Then I always tell them that my mother had corona for 2-3 days and then she recovered. After that, she feel dehydrated and weak for next 10 days, but she recovered in 2-3 days. So don't worry, corona does not kill everyone. We all can recover from it. So this type of motivation is something which example from your personal friend, personal life you should give to the patient. Then they will feel relaxed. This is very important thing to do. Second thing you have to do is you have to make their self-help group. Self-help group means you should ask them to have a meeting on Zoom, on telephone, or if they can meet together also, but at a safer distance, and do promote this thing, the meditation, pranayam. Okay, these activities are good, and this is not meditation, pranayam, these are not copyright of any person. These are very older in civilization, and it is from Buddha, it is there. So you should promote it because these are present in Indian civilization from very long time. It's nothing bad in promoting it. And you should always encourage group activity of this thing, okay, to promote meditation and pranayam and respiratory exercises in group activity. Okay. But one more thing which we should do as a community is that we should have special psychological support. Suppose some people are, suppose someone died due to corona. So you should have psychological support from either an expert or a community worker or a teacher. From expert, suppose some psychiatrist help is available, okay, or there is community worker which can help them, okay, or there is some NGO which can help them, or old age people can help them. So psychological support should be provided from the community. We should arrange some psychological support and some friend group for the people who are struggling from it and recovering from it. Okay, so these are the 4 activity which is written in the PARC latest edition, which we should do at community level for earlier recovery of corona patient. Then at the healthcare level, at hospital level or at healthcare level, what we should do at healthcare level, first and foremost, we should make it sure that they are having at least one follow-up within 7 days. So first follow-up within 7 days. But suppose the patient is, let's say patient is very sick, okay, then the follow-up can be more frequent follow-up for severely ill patient. Okay, and this follow-up you should try to do preferably at the same hospital where they got the treatment. Okay, preferably at hospital where they are treated. And suppose you are treating them at home, then preferably the follow-up should be from the same doctor which was giving the treatment or the same person who was advising them. We should do the follow-up from the same person. That is one point. And then they also say that they should report to the nearest center in case of any danger sign. We should report to nearest center in case of any danger sign. In case of danger sign. Okay, remember the 6 danger sign which we read earlier, है ना? Rise in fever, breathlessness, SpO2 less than 95, sudden chest pain, sudden confusion or sudden weakness. Okay, so we will report that. So this is how we manage corona in home isolation and in recovery. Okay, in the next session we will discuss about how we do the surveillance of corona people, how we report the data, and how we what is the AIIMS guideline for home isolation. We can also discuss that quickly in our next session. Okay, thank you very much for listening. Thank you.